Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back yet again to another edition of the Have You Seen podcast. I am your host, Mike Bivens, on Twitter at Bivs Corner. The podcast is at Have You Seen Pod. And today, special guest, my fiance, love of my life, Latoya, is joining the podcast because you may or may not know, romance is not my genre when it comes to this movie thing. And so it is hers. It is definitely hers. And actually, I meant to prepare her for this, but I did not. So I'm going to put her on the spot. So first of all, Latoya, welcome to the podcast. Second of all, since I'm bringing you in as my romance aficionado, like, what are some of your favorite romance novels, the novels you would say shape you as a movie watcher when it comes to romance? You can call me out for putting you on the spot.
That's not fair at all. Hello, world. I am Latoya, and it took everything to get me here. I was not prepared. I was not ready for this. But I am here. Some romance novels. I'm not as into romance as you think or you believe that I am.
Okay.
I'm just a lot more open to it than you are.
Okay. Fair.
Which does not take much. So I enjoy romance, but I also enjoy sci-fi. I enjoy fantasy. I love fantasy. That's probably my favorite.
That's also another genre that I'm not huge on. So I feel like we got some good complementary stuff going already.
I guess we will see after this one.
You can't name any movies, any romance films that you. I can think of one you made me watch recently.
It's Complicated isn't just a romance.
Okay.
I love comedy, so romantic comedies.
Okay.
Life as We Know It.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Why didn't you tell me this beforehand?
Yeah,
I know this is supposed to be organic, but I would have loved to have known that you were just going to throw me out here to the wolves.
But you made me do you made me do a lot of like work to put together an outline.
Because I'm stressed. I'm freaking out. I'm trying.
So I do a thing here where I try to bring on people who maybe haven't done podcasts before, and I always expect that the first 10 to 15 minutes is going to be a lot of stress and overthinking.
And sweating after a shower. That's not okay.
But I expect that. And what will usually occur is over the course of conversation, you'll be much more loose and free. And maybe we can revisit this favorite romance. What's your favorite fantasy, like, genre, movie or property, or what are they called? Not trilogies, but like, for example, I know one better come out of your mouth, right?
I love The Witcher.
Oh my gosh. That's not what I was expecting.
I absolutely love that. I love Lord of the Rings, all of those. Hobbit. Which one were you about to say?
I was thinking Twilight.
Oh, that's a given. I'm sorry. I thought
no. This is good.
Yes, Twilight. I love Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, of course. You actually liked the third movie?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I did. I can see, because we talked about, maybe it could have been shorter, just based on the content.
Okay.
Especially what came in the fourth movie. But like you said, they gotta sell it. It has to be intense. But you know what? Twilight was the same way. Because the book versus the movie, like, it was a huge twist. And I can remember me and my best friend, we were in the theater and we were freaking out because we did not see this coming. And we were just like, oh my God, is this real? Is this really happening? Oh no. But
are you talking about the fake out?
Yes.
Oh my! I heard people were like I
was crying. I don't care.
I think I saw the first Twilight movie, but I haven't seen any of the rest. But I've seen that scene, and I've heard like a lot of Twilight fans completely hated that particular like breakdown and stuff. Like I've seen the scene and like if I okay, we're getting way off track and I'm gonna get us back on track. But like one of my least favorite movie experiences was the movie Repo Men. And in Repo Men, are you familiar with this movie at all? What's his name? I can't even think. I think Lawrence Fishburne is in it, and I can't remember the other guy's name. But in the movie Repo Man, basically it's a futuristic society where people have like organs that they're paying on.
I think I have seen Repo Man.
And like they can be repossessed. Repo Man was like, hey, I got like a loan that I'm paying on and I missed some payments and now you got to come repossess my loan.
Right.
Like it's that type of situation. So in the movie, there is a point in the movie where there's like a big dramatic action sequence and the main characters are trying to save someone. And it's really intense. And that's the scene plays out. It goes over the course of like maybe 30 minutes. And then you get to like what you think is an ending scene. And then when you get there, it's revealed that the last 30 minutes did not happen.
Is this?
Yes, it's that.
Okay, movie. So I love Jude Law. Yep. And it's not Lawrence Fishburne, it's Forrest Whitaker.
That is exactly who I meant because I was seeing the eye. You know what?
I love Jude Law. We don't have to watch that.
Well, then I won't say. Well, you already heard it, but but I will revisit that movie just to see if I truly hate it as much as I hated the experience in the theater. But yeah, it was a similar type of situation where it's like I can't believe y'all did that. But yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of background on your movie watching, your tastes, if you will, and I think we did that. It was a little bit of a battle, but we got there. But today we're here to talk about It Ends With Us. This is the Blake Lively film. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. Did I say his name right? Do you know?
I think it's good.
All right, Justin Baldoni. I have here that he was in Jane the Virgin. I know that was a show you watched.
Yes, Ralph. Her love interest, the father of her child. She was artificially inseminated.
I was gonna say like she the virgin and she got a child. So confused.
Yes, she was artificially inseminated by accident. Yeah, she went in for a routine, an annual, and she came out pregnant. So that was fun. I love Jane the Virgin.
I was gonna say that sounds insane, but you know what? If you love it, I like it. That's backward. You get the point. Jenny Slate is also in this film. Hasan Minhaj. I think we both said we liked his show, Patriot Act, on Netflix.
Right.
Additional cast: Brandon Sklenar, Kevin McKidd, Amy Morton, Alex Neustadter, who I thought I recognized him. Mm-hmm. That was the young version of Atlas.
Okay.
I thought I recognized him, and I did. He was in a show that I loved on USA Network called Colony, which is basically about an alien invasion and we don't even see the aliens, I don't think, until the third season, but people are trying to live under these new rules. It has some of the writers from the show Lost, and so the way things are revealed is similar to the show Lost, and show that I believe got canceled way ahead of its time. I remember after it got canceled, I think it has 3 seasons. After it got canceled, the writers were on like podcasts, like crying about the fact that they weren't going to get to finish the story the way they wanted to. At the same time, and the reason I'm talking about this as long as I am is because it is a show I still recommend, because the way it ends is an acceptable ending. It's just, that there was more to the story if they had allowed it. Long story short, he plays the son, the oldest son of the couple that's the main characters in the show. And the main actor, I can't remember his name, but he's from Lost, and the main actress is from The Walking Dead. She played Rick's wife early on in the show. But yeah, I knew I recognized that kid. Also, Isabela Ferrer. The movie is directed by Justin Baldoni, written by Christy Hall and Colleen Hoover. Christy Hall did the screenplay. Colleen Hoover is the author of the book. Yeah, anything to mention about these people? You don't have to.
Well, you said a lot of names. No. I know my daughter was talking about the book, and I think that's something that she's interested in reading after seeing the film with us. And I think I would like to read it as well.
Okay.
I think that would be dope. I did not know Justin Baldoni had directed as many things as he has, and that's really interesting to me. I know I looked him up years ago. Again, a fan of Jane the Virgin, and he has a production company called Way Far Entertainment, and I think it's pretty dope. And it was interesting to me that his content is about connecting people, uplifting people, being inspirational. And I think this particular movie is the first one that I've seen that he directed, and it shows that he cares about the content.
And I'll say, so there, I don't know if you've seen or heard this. I know you're not as on social media as I am, but there's been a lot of controversy in the promotion of the film. Justin, who you say seems to care, has been doing a lot of talking in the press about the domestic violence message behind this movie, whereas Blake Lively has not been doing as much of that. And Ryan Reynolds is on the red carpet, and there's like rumors that Ryan Reynolds may have like affected the script in certain places, and Justin has seemed to be frustrated with them. He's maintained a level of professionality about it, from what I can tell, but people are kind of reading between the lines that there might be some like annoyance at a bare minimum on his part with the way Ryan and Blake have been conducting themselves in this press tour.
Do you know any details about the particular interactions, or
so like
how they interfered or whatever?
One of the things is that Blake Lively mentioned that Ryan Reynolds may have written the rooftop scene.
Okay.
And from I can't remember the exact quote, and I wish I had it pulled up, but I don't want to stay too much on that.
Okay.
But one of the things I saw was they asked him if he was interested in directing the sequel, because the book does have a sequel.
Right.
And he basically made it sound like he did not have any interest, and that Blake Lively should direct it. And people, again, reading between the lines saying basically he was the director, but maybe her and Ryan wanted to have their input beyond what he might have wanted them to have.
Gotcha.
But again, a lot of reading between the lines. I don't think any side has said anything specifically. I looked it up earlier, and all I saw was articles about speculation and people making TikToks trying to read between the lines and stuff. But just something to put out there. But yeah, that's enough on the background, I think. I want to do a quick elevator review for this one. You already mentioned that we took your daughter to see this movie, and that definitely affected my experience. But elevator review, I'm going to set my timer because I'm going to try to stick to the 15 seconds. Okay. And so we'll see. It Ends With Us is not a romantic comedy. It is a romantic drama. There's some stuff in there is going to be rough for people to see, some trigger warning type moments, but overall, I think the movie has a great message and is very, very well acted and paced.
That's good.
I'm not mad at it.
That's
Boom.
Good. That's good.
Did I say anything that you disagree with or want to elaborate on more?
No. I think that is the perfect teaser of sorts, to not go too deep into it yet with the spoilers, because we're gonna dissect it. But yes, good little snippet, and I think that's enough to raise interest in what's happening, what's going on.
Okay. What were your expectations going into this movie?
Oh, okay. Expectations going in. Okay, so I saw the trailer, but since, you know, you are my fiance, I am well aware that there can be too much in trailers.
Right.
And so I pay attention to that now. And so I think I watched one of the shorter versions of the trailer, which I felt like it was enough for me to know that it was related to domestic violence, but not too much to where you knew exactly the direction in which it was going, unless you read the book. And I haven't read the book, so I don't know exactly how they match up. But I feel like there was enough to know there's something happening and there's something going on, but I have no clue which way this is gonna go. And I love that. I hate to see a trailer that and I get into the movie theater and I'm just like doing a play-by-play in my head because the trailer reveals so much.
Right.
And I'm one of those people too. I can kind of guess, because I've seen so many movies, which way things are headed. With this one, with the trailer, and even when I began to watch the movie, I had no clue. I had no idea, and that made me enjoy the space even more and just take it in a lot more. I like that.
Yeah. So for me, like you said, I don't. Anybody who's ever listened to this podcast knows I don't watch trailers if I can avoid it. For this one, I did watch a trailer. I actually think I watched the longer version, and I can say there's a lot in it, but I don't feel like anything was robbed from me as far as the experience. My expectations, I didn't know what to expect. I could tell from the trailer that it, again, wasn't a romantic comedy. And really, romantic comedies tend to just give you a beat by beat what's going to happen in the movie anyway.
Yep. No surprises.
Right. And that's not fun for me. I felt like this movie did a good job of, like you said, setting the table for what's going to be there, but not telling the story. And that allowed for an experience where we're learning, we're going on the ride with our characters. And that was awesome. Honestly, I did not know what to expect. I expected to maybe see some things that were going to annoy me, because that's my problem with romance movies, is that there seems to be almost like a formula for a lot of them.
Right.
Or characters simply making decisions that don't make sense annoys me as well. So that has to happen in a lot of these romantic comedies. And so I was scared that might happen.
Yeah.
Did not happen at all. So overall, I could say it by far exceeded any expectations I had.
Right. Okay.
On the non-spoiler side, I do have to mention this movie is PG-13. And we did take a 13-year-old with us. Now
she needs everyone to know she's almost 14. At 13, that's the beginning of the teen years. So she needs you to know that she didn't just get here. She's a second round.
Oh my gosh.
A second round. She's going into her sophomore year of teenage.
Oh my goodness. All right. So she'll be 14 in less than 2 weeks. Yep. So for me, as a new step parent, trying to get into the mindset of a parent a little bit, there were some scenes. There was definitely sexual conversations around sex, and then there were a couple of scenes. As far as sex scenes, I personally am not a fan of gratuitous sexuality on screen. I was a fan of the way these were portrayed. It kind of set the table for we're kissing. This is the mood of the situation, but we don't need to see the actual action.
Right. And that's something that I was thinking about after the movie. Okay. My appreciation, because I have a 13-year-old, but I do not watch certain scenes with her. If we're watching television or a movie and something comes up, I can, skip scenes. You cannot skip scenes in a theater. And so I think that was the first time I have ever been in a moment like that with her.
Okay.
And it was so uncomfortable for me.
I was gonna ask, like,
it was so uncomfortable for me. But then I looked at her, and she kind of like had her knees up in the seat. She was reclining, but she just was kind of balled up, and she was just like scrolling through her phone, like, yeah, this is weird for me too. And I'm just gonna kind of disconnect in this moment. But I will say though that the anxiety that I felt didn't really it didn't really amount to what had actually happened. I feel like the sex scenes, definitely rated PG-13 because they were the things were clean. It wasn't messy, it wasn't provocative, it wasn't just all out there, because sometimes I'm nervous with PG-13 because PG-13 nowadays is right. It may be different, but they did it well. I think it was tasteful enough to where your imagination led you. It took you on a journey.
It gave you enough to know what probably is occurring
exactly
in the next couple of minutes
without highlighting the moment.
Right.
It gave
you enough. Like there's a few scenes, and again, they give you enough to let you know the mood of the situation. Right. You don't need to see the actual activity. And I'm glad you had the experience you had, because I had a similar experience, and I was curious how you felt. Where as the scenes are building up, I'm like, okay, how far are we about to go? Right. What's going to happen? What they going to say? What they going to do? And the scenes kind of trailed off, like right at the point before it got to a point where I'm like, oh no. And I also noticed Madison like being on her phone. So
the phone is a great buffer.
Yeah, so
moments like that.
I can recall being a kid in those situations as well. At rated R movies, and like we didn't have cell phones back in them days, so it was like cover your eyes and stuff like that. But
and see, in my household, certain things you just didn't watch. Like it was not there. Like I would have to see it at a friend's house or at a relative's house. It's just like and so I don't think I've ever until adulthood I've never experienced that uncomfortable feeling, and I think it's because too my mom's a lot. What she can withstand is a lot lower than what I can withstand, and so like excessive making out is too much for her. Gotcha. And so she's just like turned it
off. That my parents did not have that problem. They would definitely talk about like I said, cover your eyes. But other than that, they were cool with getting up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Anything we need to say about this movie in particular? It is, how long is it? It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Did you feel like it was a long movie? Did you feel the 2 hours and 10 minutes? Or did it feel fine?
I will say, in the moments where my anxiety was super high, and me, when we're watching a movie at home and I'm freaking out and I'm just like pause it. Like I had so many moments where I'm just like pause it, and we're in the theater and you cannot pause it, but I needed it to be paused because I needed to gather myself to get over that moment, or to be able to endure whatever moment was happening,
right?
Or just to kind of set my mindset on again, I did not know where this movie was going. And so that anxiety of what is coming after this, what will be the result of this, was just, it kept me, it definitely kept me going. It kept me engaged. Right. And so maybe I don't think it felt as long in totality. Just those moments made it seem like, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over? That kind of thing. But it didn't feel as long as it was. But I left satisfied. I will say that.
I'll say as well, I expected to feel the runtime a little bit more than I did. I did not think it was a rough, like you said, it was good. It was well paced. And the only times I found myself checking my phone to check the time was when major things were occurring, and I was like, okay, how much time do we have to resolve this, or how much time do we have to get to the next thing? So I thought the 2 hours and 10 minutes was justified. Do you think there's anything in there that didn't need to be there, really?
I would say no. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that wasn't needed, and I don't think it included anything that wasn't resolved at the end. Okay. Like we got bits and pieces of certain things, and then we had aha moments of, oh, okay, that's how that connects. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, okay, that's what that meant. And so I think it was all necessary, and it all kind of encompassed the entire movie.
Yeah. Another question I'll ask, there's a good bit of time passage happening in this movie. Okay. Did you think they did a good job of portraying the passage of time? I personally thought they did a pretty good job of letting you know how much time had passed. They mention it a few times, like specifically, it's only been XYZ amount of time, or I haven't seen you in months, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And then at the end, you kind of get a timeline for the entire movie based on what occurs at the very beginning and then the dates at the end.
Right. Okay. Well, I will say they did a good job of mentioning, because I know that there were moments where I was just like, wait, they were this, but now they're that. Okay, wait, that takes this amount of time to, kind of get there. And so, but I think that kind of, again, there were times where they would insert, it's been such and such time, like you said. Right. And so it didn't seem to be all over the place. It didn't seem to be drug out. I feel like the moments and the time span that, it covered, I feel like it was important, because There were moments where I felt like, man, this can't be this quick or whatever. And then, because again, one thing about me with movies, if it's going to be something like this, it's gotta feel real to me.
Right.
Like I feel like people connect to what's real, what I can feel, what I can experience in my life, especially if you're delivering a message.
Right.
Because things can get lost in translation if I'm just sitting here watching something and everything is just so far-fetched and, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so I appreciate the fact that the things that were extended to where it was just like, okay, that makes sense. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and like I said, I get frustrated when I feel like something doesn't make sense. And the passage of time was very important in this movie because it explains why connections are what they are and how you can have these moments not pile up on top of each other as well. I think one thing I hate with rom-coms is like they'll do a thing where it's like you get a hot and heavy couple weeks, and then they'll do like a quick montage of several months, and then it'll pick back up on the movie. Like this movie jumps periodically, which I appreciate. I'm ready to get into the spoiler conversation, so I'm gonna do the fun facts here, and if you have anything you want to add, feel free to jump in.
Okay, hold on, pause before we get into this, because I feel like I'm probably gonna be doing more talking. You guys, please forgive me if you hear me burping. I'm drinking a ginger ale, and I'm not very big on carbonated drinks, and so it just comes up. I apologize. Okay, let's go.
All right. And if you want me to mute, just kind of go like that or something like that. All right. So first one, the casting of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni as Lily and Ryle caused backlash from fans because in the book, Lily is 23 and Ryle is 30, while Lively is 35 and Baldoni is 39. However, author of the book, Colleen Hoover, explained in an interview that she wanted to age the characters up in the movie in an effort to correct the mistake she made in the book. She said, back when I wrote It Ends With Us, the new adult genre was very popular. You were writing college-age characters. That's what I was contracted to do. I made Lily very young. I didn't know that neurosurgeons went to school for 50 years. There's not a 20-something neurosurgeon. As I started making this movie, I'm like, we need to age them out because I messed up. So that's my fault.
Okay, pause. So their actual age? Mm-hmm. Well, no. Okay, so she's basically just saying that they portrayed someone that was that people that were basically around the same age that they are.
Yeah, so in the movie, she wanted them to be older.
Appreciated that, actually. Right. And that was very interesting to me because I kind of, years prior, I love the young adult genre. And I think the book appeals to it's a young adult book. But in watching the movie, I didn't feel like I was watching young adults. Like I felt like we were watching people our age. Right. And so I appreciated that because it felt more relatable. It felt like it made more sense. Again, a neurosurgeon. I didn't know how old they were in the book. I didn't look that up, but
I was gonna say, like, I'm curious now if reading the book, it's a different experience with them being younger. Like if the writer actually translated some of their life experiences to being older versus being the ages they were in the book.
And I guess I believed it, them being older, right? Because I think there's and no diss to the younger generation, but I don't know. I feel like there's a specific wisdom that comes along with people that are our age. Level of maturity. Like. And so I feel like their characters displayed that level of maturity. Right. And so I appreciated that.
Same. Like and we'll get into it more in the spoiler section, but the fact that I didn't have to guess that they were supposed to be in their 30s or so, right, made me feel good because yes, I might know people that are at that age and in that portion of their life where they're doing the things that people in this movie are doing. Like it felt good to see that. Let's see. Skip that one. Apparently, Blake Lively's sister Robin and Justin Baldoni's wife Emily have small roles in the film. I did not catch them personally.
You know what? I thought I saw his wife. I'm trying to figure out.
Let me see
where that occurred.
Emily.
You said Blake Lively's sister.
This is his wife.
Yes, I know who his wife is. I've seen.
I have no idea where she was. It might have been like in a bar scene or something, or at the party or something.
I'm trying to figure it out. I remember seeing her face. Did she have a speaking role, or was it just like a cameo that she just kind of?
It just says small role, so I don't know.
So maybe it wasn't a speaking.
It might have just been in the background.
Yeah,
I can't remember anything that possibly could have been it, unless like one of them was in the hospital as a nurse or something.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Blake Lively confessed during the premiere, I think I already mentioned this, that her husband Ryan Reynolds wrote / created a very pivotal scene in the movie, the rooftop scene.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Which we'll discuss. Yes. Apparently some pivotal book scenes that didn't make the final cut were a poker night. Says poker night / Cassie never existed, and Lily's mom knows that she chose not to speak. I'm not going to mention that. That feels like a spoiler, even though they don't mention it when.
Okay.
I'll mention it in the spoiler section. The film opened at number 2 at the box office after Deadpool and Wolverine, starring Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds. This made Reynolds and Lively the first married couple to star in the top 2 films at the box office since Bruce Willis and Demi Moore in 1990, when Ghost opened at number 2 after Die Hard 2, but gained the number 1 spot the following week.
Good for them. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And look at us, the first couple to do. All right, I'll make that up. Oh wow, there's a long list of people that could have had the Jenny Slate character. Do we want to go through this?
Okay.
All right. Grace Carolyn Curry, I'm not sure I know who that is, was up for the role. I've seen that face. Daisy Edgar Jones, Virginia Gardner, Lucy Hale, Danielle McDonald, Florence Pugh, who's a fan. I'm a fan of Florence Pugh. Lily Reinhart was up for the role. Margot Robbie would have been weird. Saoirse Ronan and Anya Taylor-Joy were all considered. I think Jenny Slate was the right pick. Most of those actresses are way too serious for me.
Yeah.
Jenny Slate, not that this Jenny Slate, she's great, but she's more of a humorous person, and that role needed some humor.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say. This is hilarious. The name of Atlas's restaurant in the movie is different than what it is in the book. In the book, it's actually called Bibs.
No, it's not. Let me see that.
Better in Boston, BIBS. That is fantastic.
Oh wow.
But I do think the name change was perfect.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later. And that's the third time I think we mentioned the spoiler section, so we'll definitely be moving over there in just a second.
Yeah.
Random fact, I guess, this is the second film in August of 2024 to feature a character named Atlas, the first being Borderlands. Both films were released on August 9th. You ready to get into these spoilers?
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to transition to the spoilers, and I'm going to give the fact that I thought kind of said too much.
Okay.
Real quick. Where is it? Did I already lose it? All right. The second scene that didn't make the film from the book was Lily's mom finding out that she chose not to speak at her father's funeral. Her mom tells her that she's never felt prouder of her for not speaking.
Oh wow.
Which is, I would have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that would have changed.
That's a different movie.
Yeah, that's a totally different movie.
I think now that we're in the spoiler section, I can say this. I think part of the point of the movie is that her mom, she had to do what her mom couldn't do.
Right.
So let's get into it. Do you want to? I don't want to get into a whole chronological thing, but I'm going to give a bigger kind of a timeline of what happens in the movie.
Okay.
So the movie starts out with Blake Lively's character, Lily, coming back home for her father's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
She's expected to say some words. Her mom wants her to list the 5 things she likes about her dad or loved about her dad or whatever the case may be. And when she gets there, she gets up and she has a blank piece of paper and she's unable to speak. Kind of lets us know right off the bat something about her dad is not great, and that's kind of sets the table for the movie,
right? And I guess I noticed too that when they spoke about him, the people around them that weren't her and her mother, it was just, he's this great person, his prestige, he's his politician, all the great things that he's done, and just kind of highlighting his greatness. And that was interesting to me because we didn't know, what's going on. We just see her with this paper and we're just like, oh wow, they named a lot of things about him, and they knew a part of him, but she lived with him,
right?
And she had nothing. She had nothing, and the 5 things was that was her mom's idea,
right?
And so, if she had to choose one, could she have? I was curious about that. If she had just done herself, and so but her mom, saying, giving her the instructions of, just do five things about him. I was just like, whoa, that's a big list.
And I think that scene right out of the gates kind of, it immediately connected me to this character. Immediately I want to know more.
Right. Because you don't know why she can't list anything. And we laughed about it before, but inside of a memorial service where people can't speak, it's common in our culture to where it's just like, we give words of encouragement,
right.
Or it's okay, it's all right, and it's, I think it's received a lot better to where it's just like, oh, if you couldn't do it, it's to be expected,
right.
But I know that even in our culture, in certain settings, it's kind of like, well, why didn't you say anything? Well, why wasn't there something for you to say? There's a lot you could have said.
Right.
Why didn't you, say anything? And maybe there's a disrespect factor in walking away.
And I think so too. I actually thought that they were going to come back to that. Like, I thought her mom was going to be like really mad.
Right. I thought so too.
Why would you embarrass us like that? Blah, 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 blah. The fact that they don't address it, I don't care at the end of the day. Right. But I definitely thought there was going to be more to it. But it does what it was intended to do. It lets us know that there's something about her father that she did not enjoy.
Right.
From there, she moves to Boston. She's opening a flower shop. And in the process of that, she runs into this guy. And right off the bat, he's kicking a chair.
Listen. This is what I've been ready to talk about. Okay.
Let's get into
it. Because, I know this is a movie. There is romance, but it's also drama. And so, anytime there's a romance movie, there is an expectation of a meet cute. So I'm freaking out because I'm just like, this ain't cute. This ain't cute. He comes in on the rooftop, kicking a chair, clearly upset.
Right.
She's sitting on the edge of the building. This doesn't look safe at all.
Nobody
for
here
anybody
in a good situation.
It was not a meet cute, and I kind of knew, maybe they're trying to build something here, but just knowing, excuse me,
I clear my throat all the time on this podcast.
Just knowing the way that they met up was kind of it. I guess it's one of those moments where you're kind of holding your breath a little bit because you don't know what's to come later, like what will happen next. And I thought that was interesting for that to be their first meeting and for a conversation to continue after that, because even with her, he was just like, you're making me nervous, like I'm really anxious, could you please get down? And then next thing we know, he hops up there with her, and I'm just like, oh, okay, so
suicide pact.
Right, what is happening right now? What are they doing? But the rooftop scene was interesting. They continued to talk everything.
What stood out for you with this rooftop scene? I can tell you what stood out for me if you want me to start. So in this scene, again, I expect a formula when it comes to romance movies and things like that. So one thing I did appreciate in the scene, and I'll say I appreciated this about Blake Lively's character completely, like Lily as a character. Like, there's always a hot and heavy, there's always a quick to get to the bedroom type situation. Or if there's not, it's like played out like it's a game. She wasn't playing no games. She was about her business.
No games. She was standing on business. She said, I'm good. I love the way she said it. She was just like, and there was no disrespect.
Right.
There was no, you're that guy, or this, that, and the third.
No judgment. I don't think it was any judgment.
No, it was like no judgment. And I appreciate your honesty, but I'm the girl that you take home to mom. And I was like, girl, yeah.
and it was cool because she stood, like you said, she stood on that. Like, she was not.
Right. She did not.
He came with all the Playboy flair. I'm a neurosurgeon, and I thought the rooftop scene, the way it ends with him getting the call to go into surgery, and she was like,
she thought it was a lie.
I thought it was the whole time. She thought it was a lie. Not that it would have made her do anything differently.
Right.
I don't think that mattered to her at all.
No.
But the fact that she like laughed and was like, "Oh, I thought you were lying about being a surgeon in the first place." That was funny. But yeah, I thought that the way she conducted herself with him was perfect, and the way he reacted to her, in a sense of, again, we've seen movies where there's this guy who's a playboy or whatever, and he's all of a sudden he wants to get with the good girl type of situation. It didn't feel like that, even though that's kind of what their romance or their courtship ended up being.
Right.
Anything you want to add on that? No. Okay.
No.
So of course, he keeps popping up. There's of course the one thing that does have to happen in these movies is the random connections that bring you back together. So the lady who ends up coming into her flower shop the day she gets the key,
looking for a
job, curious what the inside of this shop looks like, ends up being his sister. So now a couple months have passed since their original meeting. They're seeing each other again. He's still interested,
right?
And she's still, I'm good.
Right.
Again, but still not being crazy about it, not being weird about it, not acting like, I'm better than everything and you gonna have to woo me, blah blah blah. Just on some it's cool, I'm good type of vibes.
Right. I know what you want and that's not what I want. So I'm okay.
And so she made him work for it. And it was funny because when he finally does ask her on a date, he didn't know how to do it. He didn't. I forget what he said. I forget how he said it, but it was like you could tell this man has never had to like ask a woman out for real.
Right. It's just he was totally out of his element, and I guess him even on the rooftop when he was just like, she asked him, she was just like, does this usually work, or how many women does this usually work on? And he was just like, all of them.
Right.
And so it's something that I guess for him, I don't have to give more than just this moment,
right? And
boom, that's it. And so she made him work. Like he had to earn her in a way that I'm sure, like, just based on his character and how he displayed his character, just it was something that he wasn't used to. This was brand new to him, and so it was interesting watching that unfold.
I think it was very well written. There were a lot of opportunities for this to get goofy, for his character to come off a certain way, for her character to come off a certain way, and I just felt like I didn't hate either one of them at any point in time.
No,
till they gave me some reasons to hate them.
Right.
But as far as the courtship part of it, I was perfectly fine with how it played out, and that's rare for me in any movie. Period.
Oh, look at you!
Oh my gosh! So, there's kind of three angles with this.
Okay.
The first is their relationship. The second is Blake Lively's character Lily and her past, her first, and her family. Like, I guess that's kind of a collective thing. And then of course she has the business. I don't know, that's not really a big part of it, but that is a part of it that we kind of follow. Is there anything we need to say about her relationship with old buddy before we move back to her past, her upbringing?
No, because I feel like once we explore the past, we can bridge it with what happens, what transpires, and how she gets into the situation that she's in.
Yeah. So going back, we find out on the rooftop that Lily, she tells him that the first boy that she was with, boy she lost her virginity to, was homeless.
Right.
And she says it in a way that makes it sound jokey, downplay, etc. and so forth. We have no reason to believe that there's more to it than that.
Right.
That there's more depth to this story. If anything, I'm thinking she might have just been a weird kid that whatever.
Right.
We go back, however, to this childhood and we see this story, and we see this young man coming out of the abandoned house across the street, and he smells and he's nervous and she's noticing him. And the first day she goes and gets him groceries. You said she got a sleeping bag and a bag for him. Like she took care of him. Like instinctively, she was like, I see this kid, people are making fun of him. Like you hear the kids in the back of the bus talking about him.
Right.
And she's noticing him, and she feels you can tell she's a good person right off the bat. Right. She goes out and looks out for him. I think it was pretty obvious he saw her when she peeked out. But the next day he thanks her, and our friendship is kind of sparked.
Right. Friendship begins to blossom from there, and I think there's an awareness that he is seen. Like, to me, that's what it felt like. Like, I imagine him just kind of being in the mindset of, I'm homeless, You know, people that see me don't really see me. You know, they just see my attire, or like you said, they smell me, or, you know, nobody's really trying to explore who I am and what I'm about, what I think, what I feel, except for this one girl. Like, she really saw me,
right,
and she took the opportunity to, and I don't, it didn't feel like pity.
No, not at all.
Like, it felt like a helping hand. Like, let me look out for you because nobody else is doing it. I want to be kind. Like, it seemed like it came from a genuine place in her, to where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to do this because this is what I do. This is who I am.
Right. And and that comes from it felt believable, I would say, because like we find out, you know, she's from a family that is of means, if you will. So they have excess, and her mom is a good woman. Her dad portrays the role of a good man, so she has good home values. But she's damaged at the same time. She's seen things. And so when they start talking and she's like, you know, how'd you end up in this situation? He's like, you know, my mom keeps dating men who beat on her.
Right.
And I can't be there, basically. Like, and he has a scar on his hand. He says, I got in the way one time. Realistic. Like, this is realistic. My sister's a social worker. I've heard stories about this all the time. He's not just out on the streets to be on the streets. He's like, hey, when school is over, I'm going to the military. Like, he has a plan.
Right.
Like, he's going to do what he got to do. He's about his business. And, you know, if I got to suffer for a few months to get through this school thing so I can go to the military, it is what it is.
Right.
She doesn't tell him about her home life at this point.
Right. She doesn't.
I thought that was interesting. How'd you?
Yeah, I thought, you know, if anything, that I think it drew her to him more, that relatability. But I think for her, releasing that was too much. Like, she wasn't ready or prepared to share that aspect of her life with him. And I thought that was interesting, and I was just paying attention to her character, because, you know, Blake Lively, I always see her and I know her by her smile, the way her eyes light up and they kind of squint and that type of thing. And so when I first saw her, the person who was portraying her character, you know, the younger version of her, I was just like, oh my gosh, she is not smiling. Like, at first it was just like, this is not believable that this would be her.
She had red hair.
She had red hair, but it was just like her essence was not there until she had that conversation with him. And I saw her smile.
Right.
And I saw it. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so interesting. That's so cool. But then it made me think back to, what has this girl experienced to where she's so low, or she appears to be so sad, and
lonely, because usually you see teenage kids in a movie or whatever, they got a bunch of friends,
she's sitting by herself, he's sitting by himself, and that's interesting too, because, you know, he's homeless, she's wealthy, you know, and if you pay attention to even her clothing choices, it's just like,
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Is she homeless? Like, you know, and no disrespect, and I'm only making a joke, but yeah, like, is she neglected, or is this just a choice of hers? Like, does she want you to not know that she is of this life, or of this pedigree, or from this family? Like, she looked like the oddball out. You see her parents, the way that they're dressed, the way that they carry themselves, you know, even as she's older, you know, she has an essence about her that makes her stick out like a sore thumb around people who are more so her kind.
Okay. So I think with every part about her character made sense, which I'm not used to. She grows up in this house where her father is abusive to her mother, and she doesn't have developed great relationships. She doesn't seem to have interest in being in a relationship. That's natural for someone who grew up in an abusive household. She probably has a mistrust of men, and to a certain extent. But again, like you said, as she learns more about Atlas's home life, there is that connection there, and she's even more inclined to look out for him. She gives him some of her dad's clothes. You mentioned that the way her parents dress. Her dad has like jeans and shirts like that. She's giving him those, and she's like, he won't miss them. He never wears that stuff anyway. So he's able to get these clothes from her. He's coming over to get showers. He starts cooking for her.
Right.
He teaches her how to make some cookies. That's a recipe that he put together. And again, there's a lot of good foreshadowing that's done in this. There's a night where her dad is abusing her mom, and he mentions to her, "I heard what happened
right
at your house."
Right.
And that's when now they both know, we both have experienced this. Like we both seen our moms be beaten on. They have a conversation about plants, and I can't remember. She's planting something. She's in the garden or whatever, and she says the most important part of the plant is the roots.
Right.
And she talks about how the plants need a lot of care, et cetera, and so forth.
And then she compared it to that oak tree.
Right. So then he mentioned, what about a plant that doesn't have that attention and that nurture and that care? And she brings up the oak tree being it like this oak tree doesn't have that attention and care, but yet it's still here and it still grows.
Takes care of itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of they're now relating this tree to themselves.
Right.
Like she's not getting the nurture and the love that she needs to grow, but she's gonna be fine.
Right.
And he's obviously not getting what he needs, but he's gonna be fine too.
Right.
It was interesting to me that they did not keep in touch after that. But they go on their separate ways, and I can't remember when we find this out, but he had mentioned to her that after he's going to the Marines, and when the Marines I think it's actually during this conversation, he says, after I graduate, I'm going to the Marines, and after the Marines, I'm moving to Boston. Everything's better in Boston.
Right.
Which is where that Bibs restaurant comes from. But I do appreciate that in the movie they changed it to Roots because it had more meaning. And when I didn't put it together initially, but when I did, I was like, like that was really there's so much good. This is well written. I can say that for sure.
It is.
So, long story short, she has moved to Boston. She has opened a floral shop.
Yep.
She's found this neurosurgeon. They're falling in love.
Right.
He's proposing. They're getting married.
Yes.
And I want to say, like, right after the marriage is when the first
that's when
occurs.
When it all falls apart.
So there's a moment in the kitchen. Yeah, it was after. I feel like it was the day after almost. When they're in the kitchen and something's burning. He goes to check it finally because he sees the smoke. She's behind him. From our perspective, and you called this out before they revealed it. From our perspective, we see him burn himself and like pull his arm back and pop.
Right.
Upside the head.
And oh my God. What was crazy to me, after that scene, I was confused. It was like confusing. Like, was that an accident? What? But like, that's how I was. And so it was, I feel like that was purposeful.
It was.
And it was meant to have you, I don't know, like see things from the perspective of a person that is being abused. Like you question it. You're like, hey, that wasn't on purpose.
That's great directing.
That really was. That really stood out to me.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I was gonna move to another scene where something occurs.
Okay.
Was the second one the phone or that was the final one? The second one was the steps.
They weren't married after the first one, then.
You sure?
I don't think they were married because I remember the second time it happened, she was on the phone with her mother and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'll never forgive you. How could you get married without me?
You're
first
right.
one,
The first
they
one
were
did not
still
happen
dating.
when
They were living together, but they were still dating.
Yes, she was in the house, but they weren't married yet. Mm-hmm. You're right.
But what were you saying about the second one?
Was the stairs second or
the stairs was second?
So the second time they're getting in an argument. I can't remember what it was about.
It was okay. So
was it the first time she saw?
It was when he got her phone and Atlas had given her his card. Because remember, they went to the restaurant, Atlas's restaurant.
Yes. So after the first incident, they go to Atlas's restaurant, and he sees her. He sees his hand bandaged up, and he sees her with a bruise under her eye. She's like putting makeup on to hide it, etc. and so forth. And we know his history. We know her history. Right. Atlas sees that. Atlas is pissed. Right. Atlas like, we not doing this.
Exactly. And I found it so interesting that, you know, she sneaks to the back to talk to him, to kind of talk him down. And, you know, she can tell that he's upset and she's trying to explain it to him. And, you know, he ain't trying to hear it because he's just like, no, I know. And she says, I found it so interesting that she says, I'm not your mom, I'm not my mom. I thought that was very interesting that she put herself in his mother's shoes as opposed to her own mother's shoes.
Do you think that was a inability on her part to fully identify what her mom did?
I feel like maybe, but I also feel like that was a way to smooth it over for him. But not I need to say something to you to convince you that there's no issue here, whether I'm convinced or not. Because if she had said it was her mom, you know, I'm not my mom.
That means she thought about it.
Then exactly. And that's something that she can stand firm on. I'm not my mom. I know what my mom experienced. I saw my mom go through these things, as opposed to, you know, being, you know, a secondhand experience. Like he told her about his mom and what his mom experienced. And so I feel like that was her way of saying to him, you know, I'm not your mom.
Don't equate what you see with what you experience.
Exactly.
This ain't that.
Exactly. Okay. I need you to know that, whether I know it or not. I need you to know that.
Okay. So they have that moment. The boyfriend or the boyfriend at this time comes back there as well as she's coming out, and he's pissed, and they get into a little thing.
Oh, that was my first moment of anxiety where I'm just like, oh my goodness, they about to tear this restaurant up.
Him and Atlas get into a little fight. Yeah. And Atlas say, get the hell out of my restaurant
and never come back. Don't come back.
At this point, I'm wondering, like, dang, are we gonna see Atlas again? Like,
right?
I don't know how this is about to play out.
Right, exactly. Because I was just like, you know, the way that her boyfriend at the time, the way that he felt about it, I'm just like, there's no way she can talk to him. Like, there's no way that, you know, continuing to be in contact with him is not going to result in, you know, them breaking up or, you know, them having conflict between them. Right. Exactly.
And so they go outside and he realizes who that kid is. He actually realized it in the restaurant. He said like something real disrespectful, like, you the homeless kid she wasted her virginity on.
Yes, that was so
which is crazy. Which is disrespectful to her too.
Yeah.
But then he has a conversation. He allows himself to be vulnerable for a minute, and he's like, anybody but him. Like,
right. And he was just like, you know, I've given you my all, and
like I'm trying.
I just can't. Right. This is new to me, and I've never, you know, given somebody everything. And you know, he just kind of, like you said, has a transparent moment where he just kind of lets it all out and just says, anybody but him, I can't do it.
Right. Because he knows, or now he realizes that there's more to that relationship than what she may have previously let on. And so we don't expect to see Atlas for any time soon. Like we said, the relationship grows. They do become married. They do have the moment where
remember, Atlas comes to the shop.
He did come to the shop. That's where she got the card
from.
Right. He takes her phone and puts his card underneath the case for
apologizing
the phone.
about the situation and everything, and he was just like, you know what, you're right, you got it. I apologize for coming at you thinking that it was that situation, and it's not. But right. If you ever need to talk, here's my number.
Right. So he does apologize. He actually said, I went to came by before, but I saw he was here and I didn't think that was going to work out too nice. But I do want to talk to you and make sure we cool, because right. I don't want us to be on bad terms based on that experience, that moment. So the card is there. She's talking to her mom after the marriage, and he's got her phone for whatever reason. He drops it.
He asks to charge it.
Okay.
Well, she asked him. She asked him.
Put it on the charger. Okay. Yeah. He dropped it. Case open. Boom. Phone number. Apparently, he has time to call.
He got time to do everything.
The phone number.
We walk in. We see a broken lamp. That had nothing to do with the phone falling.
I'm about to say that ain't how he dropped the phone.
Listen, it was 2 minutes that she was on the phone. If that,
I was about to say
it was like 40 seconds quick that she was on the video call with her mom, and next thing we know, we hear this big crash, and we go into the room. He's sitting on the bed, grabbing his forehead and everything, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And what did he say? What did he say he did?
He said, "I dropped your phone. The case came off, and this came out."
That's so weird.
And then I called the number.
Right, you did all that.
Like, God, dog, like you did all. You didn't want to ask me first, like
exactly.
Might have been a perfectly good explanation, but you went and did a bunch of stuff on your own.
Right.
So now he's broken this lamp. He's pissed. He's going out. She's following him.
Right. And that kind of
I didn't like that.
Raised my anxiety then, because I was just like, why is she following him? Like, just let him take a break. Right. Let him breathe. Let him, have it. But I can see how in her mind it's just like, I need you to know that this is nothing.
Not what it looked like.
I need you to know. They're newlyweds. Right. They just got married. The last thing you want after a marriage is an annulment, is a divorce. Like, right. I think in her heart of hearts, it's just like, no, I need him to know. I need him to understand I'm here.
Right. I don't want him to spend more time with this on his heart.
Exactly. I don't want you to leave and think and overthink this situation. Just hear me out right now. Right.
Ends up being a situation where they're on the stairs, and again, with the directing, she ends up going down the stairs. The scene fades to black. She wakes up and he's treating her in the house.
Right.
Says that she fell, she tripped, whatever the case may be, and he's treating her. She's fine. She doesn't really remember what happened in this moment. So then she has a tattoo of a heart on her collarbone. And we know what the tattoo signifies.
Right.
I couldn't remember. Oh, real quick. Mm-hmm. When she falls down the steps.
Right.
Your daughter had mentioned somebody gonna die in this movie.
Right. She was what did she say? She was just like, somebody's either gonna die or somebody gonna get left behind. They're gonna be by themselves. They're gonna be single. Like they're gonna break up.
Like
or somebody gonna die. Happen. Like something bad is going to happen. Did you see that? Something bad is gonna happen, because when stuff like that happens, it's just all bad from there. And it's true that is like it's all downhill from there.
As soon as she go down the steps, she said, "See, told you."
Right.
Somebody died. It was like, I don't think the main character died, but close. It's close. But anyway, going back, we know that symbol on her, that tattoo, is tied to Atlas.
Right.
He'd asked about it before. I don't think she gave him an answer. Am I tripping?
She grazed over it. She was real smooth with
it. She downplayed it.
Yeah, she did. She was just like, oh, people get tattoos. Teenagers get tattoos. They don't mean things. And he was just like, no, tattoos just mean stuff. And she was just like, yeah, no, it's just a heart. Right.
So we know that that's not the case. And eventually, like her flower shop is blooming, if you will. Is right. Things are going well. She ends up getting a profile in a magazine. She's number 7 of the new businesses in Boston.
Right.
But Atlas's restaurant is number 1. And so her employee, his sister, comes in with the magazine. Hey, look, we made it. Da da da. It's exciting. Blah blah blah. He comes home. And she's like, did you see? Or he was like, I saw you in the thing. That's great. And she's like, yeah, it's fantastic. And he's like, why don't you read that profile for me? And she's like, what? Why don't you read that profile for me real quick?
And I think that was the moment where it was clear what was going on. Just his tone of voice and the words that he was using. He was like, read it now.
Right.
Like it was very assertive, very assertive, very demanding. You know, like you have no other option. I need you to know that this is what I'm telling you to do.
Like you're going to do it.
The expectation is for you to do it.
Right. And then as she starts to read, he's like, no. Read number 1.
I was so stressed.
Read number 1. And number 1 is Atlas's restaurant.
But I didn't know how far
farther
it was going to go. Because at first I was just like, oh, he's trying to, link something back. And, oh, that's your boy, that type of thing. But the more she read, oh, my goodness.
Do you think Atlas was wrong for going as far as he went? As far as, like, it became very clear that he was talking about her. And it's true that she was the inspiration.
Exactly. And here's the thing,
but I didn't think it was a romantic gesture.
I don't think it was a romantic gesture either. I don't think it was put out there like, oh, well, she's number 7, so she's definitely going to read this and she's definitely going to see my name and that type of thing. I think he was just telling the story. This is what inspired this. And then on one particular question, he said, I'm going to say this and I'm not going to say anything else about it. I think that was the respect factor. Like, I'm not going to,
further.
Exactly. She's a married woman. I'm going to share with you what happened in our childhood.
They asked if he had been in touch with her since opening a restaurant or something along those lines. Right. And he was like, yes. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah. And she'd been in a restaurant. In fact, I don't think she put it together. Right. The name and the significance. But as she's reading his profile, I was like, oh, snap. Like, and old buddy is like, yeah, this ain't going to work for me.
Right.
Personally. And then it gets really scary. I didn't know what the hell was about to happen, but he forces himself on top of her.
Right.
She is very much not for any of this.
Right. The whole entire time she's saying, stop, you're scaring me. Please stop, you're hurting me. Like expressing to him that this is not okay.
Right. Like it's very clear that she does not, and this is the first time that they have one of these encounters, like you said, that where it's clear this is not good.
Right.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts.
Right. You cannot, there's nothing gray that you can use to excuse this. This is not a space to where it's just like, well, maybe it's not. Right. It was direct.
And we don't know exactly what happened.
Right.
We can make some assumptions. And now she leaves. She goes to her car. She goes to Atlas's restaurant.
Yeah, she drives to the restaurant.
And I don't even think she had to tell him.
She didn't. Like I felt like in that moment, just his awareness and her awareness of what they experienced in their childhood, it was evident. It was written all over their faces and it was understood.
I think this is where the characters being older also makes more sense.
Exactly. And again, this is not to say that people 18 to 25 or whatever aren't as wise or aren't as mature enough to be able to move in the way that they did in a type of situation like this, but there's I feel like there's a grace that comes with our age,
right?
When you're over 30, to where it's just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
let's go, let's move. And just thinking about all the experiences up until that point, and in that totality of all of those things, it's just like, let's move, let's go, let's do what's necessary. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you feel like, and I know you're a man, but do you feel like if they were, or if she was in her younger 20s, would it have played out the way that it did?
I don't think a lot of things would have played out the way they did. I think there would have been a lot more emotional decisions on all their parts. Like even with Atlas, like I don't think at any point he made it clear like I'm gonna get you back. Like right. I don't think he put like he let it be known like I still care about you, but he didn't like try to like make situations where he's in her orbit. He's not like what he can do for you that I can't. Like right. He don't know you. Like he didn't do none of that.
Right. And even afterwards, she realized herself. She was just like, "There's no Cassie, is there?" He never told her.
Right.
He never said, "Oh, girl,
he said he said he had somebody."
Right. He
didn't
like,
want her to think about that.
Exactly. And so it took her just kind of discovering there is no Cassie, there is no other girl, there is no one in his life in that way.
I think that might also say something about their upbringing,
right?
With the way they navigate relationships, or the way they didn't navigate relationships as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also with her, she might have been more intentional about getting him involved and getting her out of that situation.
Right.
I felt like she went to him again with the way things were set up. We know she doesn't have a ton of friends. Her only friend is her husband's sister. She's not going to go to her.
Exactly.
She doesn't know whose side she's going to take or how she's going to react to that. So it made sense that she would go to him. Him being that they have that history, that he knows what she's been through. Distance, keeps his distance, gets her to the house. You can have a room, like all that. Like I think them being in their upper whatever meant it was all business. It was all above board. Right. There's no question about my feelings for you and how I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of, right? Like, as a man.
And there are no hidden agendas. Like I'm here to care for you because care is what you need in this moment. Right. Nothing else. You don't need a savior. Mm-hmm. You don't need a knight in shining armor to save you and swoop in and
beat up the my woman. Guy.
Right. You don't need that.
And if on the other end for her, she's not showing up because she wants that either. She's showing up because she needs a space. She needs to be able to get away from him. And this is the only person I know I can go to. And like, I don't think she was excited about being there.
Right.
I think it was a desperation play. And again, she was there as long as she needed to be. She goes back and now she replays all the previous encounters.
She does, and we see them for what they really are because she sees them for what they truly are.
She finally wakes up and realizes he's been abusing me.
Right.
And when she goes to the hospital, they were about to do a rape kit.
Yep.
She tells them not to. And then I think she said that the lady was like, we wanted to do an x-ray, but we're not going to because of your situation.
Bite her freaking tattoo off or something.
Yes, there were teeth marks around the tattoo that was on her collarbone.
Yeah.
Again, just that possessiveness, that whatever, the things, the bad things that and again, the foreshadowing was there. When she first meets him, he's throwing a tantrum. He's kicking stuff on the roof.
Exactly.
And she didn't see that red flag. She missed a couple more, and now we've gotten to this point. But she finds out she's pregnant.
Right. That moment for me, I think just I guess it made it a lot more complicated because it's just like, us as the viewers know you have to go, but you having this connection, this bond to him, is that going to be the factor to which you decide to lean on and say, you know what, this baby gonna bring us closer.
And that's
this baby's
not
gonna bring
uncommon.
us together. Exactly. This baby is going to be the love factor. This is our love child. It's going to change his heart.
Mm-hmm. He's not gonna hurt me when I have his baby.
Right. He's not gonna hurt my child. Right. You know, this is a part of him. And if he loves his baby and this baby's a part of me, he's gonna love me. And I think in that moment I was really holding my breath because I was just like, and I said it before they said it, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. And so that was one of those moments to where it's just like, what's gonna happen next?
And even for old buddy, Atlas, I gotta imagine what's going through his head in that moment. Like, clearly she's accepting this is not healthy. But now she's pregnant, and how's she gonna react to that? Right. They don't give us the answer right away. They definitely let us deal with it a little bit. She did appear to stay away from him, and she told his sister what happened.
They met up.
They have that scene, and at the end of every podcast, I always ask, you know, what's the scene that stuck with you that you think is going to stick with people? I think the scene with the sister might be the one that got to me the most. Where she tells her what happened, and the sister's like, you know, she finds out some stuff from his childhood that may have affected him. It's again a story on the rooftop about how he accidentally killed his older sibling, or their older sibling. And she said, you know, he was never the same after that. Which again was another opportunity for some pity and I'm gonna fix him type of situations. But along with that, she says, you know, as his sister, I want you to forgive him. I want you to give him another chance, etc. and so forth. But as your best friend,
if you do,
I'll never talk to you again if you take him back.
Yeah.
And gives it his hug. And I cried. I ain't gonna lie. I shed tears. I might have shed a thug tear too in the theater because that level of, like, I'm big on, like, I don't throw words around. If I call you a friend, that means I trust you on a very high level. Right. And that's what a friend is.
Right. And I feel like in all types of situations, whether it's domestic violence, whether you're just in a toxic relationship, whether it's the violence may not be physical, it may be emotional, you know, the gaslighting, that type of thing. Just to have someone in your corner that says, I won't enable this. Like, I won't just stand back silently. And if that's what you want, you don't want me around. Right. Because that's not who I am. That's not the friend that I am. Right. And for me too, it's the same. Like, I need people around that's gonna say, you know what, if this is what you choose to do, I love you enough to move back and say, you know what, I can't
be around for that.
I can't.
And I've had to do that in friendships where it's like, look, you keep coming to me with the same problem over and over. I keep telling you, don't go back. Right. And you keep doing it. I can't do it anymore. If you're going to do that, don't bring it to me.
Exactly.
And so, again, very poignant moment. We do see her go back to her mom. She's building the crib. She's having trouble building the crib. Old buddy comes back around.
Ooh, I was so nervous about that.
Old buddy comes back.
It's just the two of them at the house. You know, she's pregnant and she's out there. So in my mind, there's a heightened level of vulnerability with her. You know, what if he snap, or he get mad, or he don't like something she does, or something that she says, and you know, there's a higher threat value, because not only can he hurt you, he can hurt your unborn child. Yeah. And that was scary. I was just like, no, you can't have the police escort, or, you know, somebody, right, some neutral party there to kind of, you know, mediate this scene, this situation, this encounter.
I was definitely afraid of the level of trust that she put in her ability to handle that situation, pregnant with him being who he is and seeing what he's done already. But they navigate that. Birth comes, he's there. I remember your daughter was very upset that this man was present for the birth.
She was like, "Oh no, you don't get to go. No, you hit me, you hurt me. Right. You don't get to show up at all." So when you talk about these moments that stick with you, okay, this scene is mine.
I'll let you talk about it then.
This scene is mine. Okay, so he comes in. He comes in for the birth. He doesn't come in after. He's there for the entire thing. They cut the cord and everything. And she has this moment where she's just like, "Do you want to hold her?" And so she hands him the baby. He's hugging her, looking at her lovingly. You know, she shares with him, "I think we should name her after your older brother that passed, in honor of him and his memory," which I thought was so beautiful. Right. You know, because if it was up to Madison, you ain't get no name, you ain't get no phone call, you're not going to be here, you're not going to be in this child's life, get gone. But she's 13. And the age factor makes a difference in, you know, that maturity. And so, you know, I thought that was very special. And that kind of lets you know that she didn't hold a grudge. She didn't have any animosity towards him and everything. And so he's in this moment where he's experiencing the joy of his child, the joy in knowing that his child is going to be named after his brother. And then she hit him with that, "Ooh, I want a divorce." Oh my goodness. I'm so nervous. He got the baby. And she didn't let him climb. Matter of fact, she let him get in the bed with her. And that's what Madison was freaking out about. She's like, "No, it's a chair right over there. He can sit in that chair and rock the baby." She invited him in the bed with them.
And he probably think at this point, "Oh, we back.
Edit this baby. I'm good. Right. I'm good.
I got my family. Everything is perfect."
Exactly. And she hit him with that, "I want a divorce." And I was just like, "Please don't hurt the baby. Please don't hurt the baby. Please don't hurt her, because she's still healing too. Like don't do this here. This is your matter of fact. That's his job. Like this is his workplace."
Oh, that's probably a factor in why she was
she was willing to do it. I did not consider that. Mess up his whole he ain't gonna show out here. So, you know, and for her to tell him in that moment, "I want a divorce." And, you know, you can be in the child's life and, you know, this, that, and the third, but her just standing firm on, "We are done. We are over. I will not stand for this. I will not stick around for this. Right. I'm good, but I'm gone." That was very monumental for me, because I think there's an expectation of, you know, if you have a baby, you know, there's all this joy and these hormones and all these good feelings, and she could have easily, like you said, just gone right back into it, gotten sucked right back in there, but she was just like, "No, I'm done, and I'm through."
I think the added layer to that is, like, you know, he's looking at her like, "Really? Like, right. I thought we were good."
And I think up until that point, he felt like they had hope.
Right. He was doing all the right things. Like, even when he came by and fixed
it, he was talking about, you know, I could get help and all of that, or was that when he came to her mom's house?
I know when they fixed the crib, like, I felt like he was already,
that's when he said it.
He was doing all the things, and like he was doing, "Look how gentle I am, and how helpful I am." And he asked her to come home, like you said.
That's when he was like, "I'll get help, and, you know, I just want you back. I just want this," that type of thing. But at the hospital,
that's when
he knew she was done.
But she also hit him with the, you know, as he's holding the baby, What if she tells you her boyfriend hit her?
Oh yeah, that whole scene. Yes.
What are you gonna do if she comes home and says my boyfriend hit me?
Exactly.
Like, what are you gonna do when such and such happens?
What are you gonna tell her?
What are you gonna tell her to do? And what
said,
he gonna do? What he gonna say?
I tell her to leave him.
So,
sir, you answered your own question.
So we're not going to sit here and go back and forth
exactly
about whether or not we need to be together. You wouldn't want her to be with somebody that did what you did to me. Right. Let's just leave it at that, and we can co-parent, and this can be fine. You get the help, that's fantastic, but that ain't my business at this point.
That's it.
We done.
Right.
And I again, that scene got me too. I'm about to get emotional right now.
That was my moment.
Those two scenes really were powerful. And then, most of these rom-com romantic movies, she walk out the hospital and Atlas is at the truck with the baby car seat and stuff,
and putting the baby in there and taking her and looks at her and said, "Let's go home." Right.
But this ain't that type of movie.
And I'm appreciative.
Wanted to keep it real.
I'm appreciative of that fact. It fast forwards. And that's what I was talking about with that aspect of time. Right. Because I wouldn't have appreciated it if she cut something off and jumps straight back into something else.
Because that wouldn't fit with her character.
It wouldn't fit with her character. And not only just that, like the whole premise of the movie is about domestic violence. And so I think the fact that she took time out to heal is very important. Like that, I feel like that time period from when she had the baby to when she encounters Atlas again, that's like, I've had time to heal. Right. I'm not this damaged woman you to fix. Right. And for me to come in and I gotta work through all these kinks and all these problems and stuff, and maybe I go back to my ex because I'm not sure, and now you're kind of caught up in this cycle or right.
Whatever. And she hasn't figured out co-parenting yet. Immediately after, like they gotta work that out. Right. They gotta figure out what that looks like.
Exactly.
So
let's not invite somebody into this until we have already established what this is and how it's gonna run.
Exactly. Like and I skipped the part that I need to go back to. In the bed after Ryo leaves, she holds the baby and she says, "It ends with us. It ends with us. We're not doing this.
We're not. That's it. It ends here. It stops here."
Because it is a cycle. Like I think about the joke J. Cole lyric all the time. Like, you're what's the 20 years from now, her boyfriend will probably whoop her A2 or something like that. Like a girl in a house seeing her mom get beat is more likely to accept that type of behavior because that's what they know. That's a relationship in their mind. A man is violent. A man is this. A man is that. If that's what she grew up in, she's going to be more likely to accept that herself. But that's where Blake Lively's character is saying, like, I'm not going to allow that to happen to you.
Right.
Which is, again, powerful. That's the message of the film. That's what the film wants to get across. How old do you think the girl is at the market at the end of the movie? Would you say daughter, 6?
I would say she's about 6. Okay. Like it's been 5+ years since they've last seen each other, and it wasn't one of those situations where, again, come save me, let me call you, let me let you know. Like he, in that moment, he was just like, are you still, with him and that type of thing.
He didn't follow. He wasn't like stalking on, checking.
Exactly. He had no idea. She had no idea. They were allowing the dust to settle. You live your life. You figure your stuff out. I figure my stuff out, and we'll see what happens. And even as the scene with them ends, we don't know what's happening. Right. What happens next? We don't know.
They could just be friends from there forward.
Exactly. And I, what? When she was talking to the baby in the hospital, my mindset immediately went to, I hope they don't just make it to where it's just like, now she's with him and now all her problems are gone and she's just, this wonderful life now, that type of thing. Because I honestly hate that. Like I can appreciate a romantic comedy or just a romance movie, period, in which the woman develops that love for herself, that internal love, to where it's just like, you know what? I'm okay. This is not about a relationship. This is about or an external relationship. This is about my relationship with myself.
Right.
I can be happy with me. I can begin the healing process. And it's not just, jump from this relationship to the next. I can be okay in and of myself.
And not in a way that feels like F all men either.
Right, exactly. in a positive way to where it's just like, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. Yeah, I'm a single mom. I'm out here doing my thing. This ain't what I planned. This ain't what I prepared for, but it's okay. And that kind of makes me think back to his sister and her husband. I feel like they added a comedic flair to the movie. And people may feel like, that wasn't necessary, but I believe that it was. Okay. And like in my mind, just thinking about people who have experienced domestic violence, I think that people don't take into consideration, I'm not just leaving this person. I'm leaving the people, the places, and the ideas that were connected to this person. This woman was her best friend. Right. So losing him could have resulted in her losing this person that makes her laugh, this person that makes her smile, this person that gives her joy in life, this person who is building this company with her. Right. That is, her co-worker. Yeah. That is assisting and doing life beside her, that has helped her to build this thing. And pretty much her only friend. Right. Like, the only person we see her interact with besides her mom and Atlas when he comes by every now and then. But right. And this is a very important piece of her life too. Exactly. So in leaving whomever you leave, it's not, I think people try to play it out like it's just this easy thing. Like, no, I have to let go of all these people that I have come to know, come to love, come to care about. I have to let go of this place that, bad things happen here, but maybe this place houses the most incredible memories I have had in my life. I have to now let go of you, but I also have to let go of the idea that I was going to have a family, that I was going to be happy, that we were going to, like, she waited into her 30s to have kids and exactly to be in this situation. She didn't plan for that. Exactly. And the idea that, she could have easily fallen back into that, well, this is what my mom didn't do, so let me do better. Let me be better, because maybe my mom wasn't good enough. That's why my dad was angry all the time. And we skipped the scene there too, where she does ask her mom, like, why'd you stay? Right. And what was her response? And the mom was like, it was easier than leaving. Another thing I loved about this movie was the fact that we're dealing with the wealthier side of domestic violence. And I think that's something that's not always included in the conversation. It's always a drunk, angry dude. Right. Poor. And you guys are, living in, a shack or, a rundown trailer. Not meeting. Exactly. But the fact that, I feel like these are the stories that are untold. Status. Because you assume I have money, I have resources, I can go, but we don't know what these resources are tied into. We don't know if he had all the accounts. Exactly. We don't know, what transpires. Like, even with her mom, we don't know how much education her mom had to where she felt confident enough to be out there. The prestige that her husband has. If she leaves, she don't end up with nothing. Or has he threatened her? Like, did she try to leave and he was like, I'll kill you? Exactly. Like, you're not going to ruin my image as the, mayor, was he? Like, he can't afford that to happen and run for re-election because that's affecting his image. Like, we don't know what the mom went through. Exactly. So I felt like it was important to tell this story from a different standpoint. I don't think I've ever experienced a story like this. I think this is new for me, and I'm appreciative of being able to gain knowledge from this particular perspective. Before we do our ratings, I'm going to bring up something I mentioned previously. There is a sequel to the book. Would you want to see a sequel to this movie? I would have to look at the book to see.
Okay.
Well, I think I did kind of glimpse at something, and it was talking about it being from Atlas's perspective. Was
wow.
it? I think so. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but
I might have to look into that.
I feel like because it starts with us, or it starts.
Let's see.
Here it starts.
I'm gonna look it up.
Don't make me lie.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. But in that scenario, is that something that you would be interested in seeing?
I would need to know how they're gonna play it off.
It Starts With Us as a romance novel by Colleen Hoover, published in 2022. It is the sequel to It Ends With Us. The book continues the story of Lily and Atlas and is told from Atlas's perspective. Okay. So it does pick up from there, but Atlas becomes the main character.
I feel like, I still wouldn't want it to be one of these happily ever after stories. Mm-hmm. Like, because I can imagine the challenges and the conflict that exists, because if he decides to be with her, she's co-parenting with an abuser.
And what is that trigger and stuff?
Exactly. What does that look like? What does that look like for that child? Is her dad now in a relationship with somebody where he's doing the same things, and now there's a battle, and that type of thing? I feel like they could do a lot with that. I just would not want it to be.
Does he have PTSD from his military experience?
Exactly.
He did 8 years. Like, he might have saw action. He might wake up in the middle of the night swinging.
Right. So know. it's and then that triggers her.
Right. And maybe that's why he hasn't been in a relationship.
Right. And so I feel like if they explore those type of avenues, most definitely I will be interested. But if it's just, and they live happily ever after, and every challenge that they were facing was just easy peasy, and nothing bad ever happens, no. But for sure.
Okay, I'm cool with it. Let's do these ratings. I didn't think we were going to be on here this long, but I'm not mad at it. We are still.
I'm sorry.
My goal is always to have the review be shorter than the movie, and I think we did that. People seem to like longer reviews for some reason. I'm not a person that likes listening to a super long podcast, but people do. but we'll see. So I gave you the key. I do have my official rating sheet, the way that I do ratings. So I'm gonna make you do it my way.
Yeah.
When I say go,
that's where you at.
All right. So on the Bibs rating scale, there's 5 categories. We're gonna rate each one 1 through 5, and the first one is: did the movie accomplish what they set out to do on a scale of 1 to 5?
I would say 5.
For sure. 5.
I feel like they brought awareness. They told a story. And we saw it out from beginning to end. And I think it was more than just about domestic violence in general. Mm-hmm. And, us as the viewers taking a journey through, the life, the experience of people. Like I said, I am blown away by those moments where we're kind of like, did this happen? Right. Or did that happen? Because I feel like that is us kind of being in the shoes of somebody that's experiencing this thing. And so, if it was to bring awareness, right, like a deep, like in the shoes awareness, yes, for sure, 5.
Like deeper than a surface level, for sure. Yeah. And I think that'll play into my ratings on a couple of these other things later. The second thing is overall entertainment value.
You go first.
I say recommendability there, but I also would include rewatchability in that. I might go with a 4 on this, just because there are some scenes that are going to be hard to watch for some people, whether it's a personal experience situation or it just makes you uncomfortable to see certain things on screen. I want to give it a 5, but I do think I have to give it a 4 on the entertainment value factor, because it is a serious subject.
Right. And I think even in that, there's value in sharing this with young girls. Okay. I think people don't really take into consideration domestic violence doesn't just start in adulthood. You know, like the teens experience relationship violence. Yeah. All the time. And so I think it's one of those things that could be very good as an early intervention type thing, to where, you know, you kind of put it out there to young girls and young guys as well. Right. Just to build that awareness. So where you at? They can say that. I would give it a 4.5. I can't give it a half. I'm not doing halves. Nope. Oh my gosh. So 5. You want to round up? Let's just go 5. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at all. What's the third category? And I'm definitely rewatching it. Like that's how I gain, you know, these movies that I love so much, to where I can quote them word for word. I can rewatch them. Emotional connection. I'm a 5. If you made me cry, that's a 5. 5. That's locked in. I don't even have to say much more than that. We've shared enough with, how we talked about it. Definitely a 5. All right. X Factor, great acting or something completely fresh. I think this is where I bring back, like you said, those moments of violence where it's initially depicted in a way that kind of leaves you like wondering. I almost feel like you almost feel the impact of the hits when they occur. Yeah. And then later when they do the reveal, show you this is what happened. That was brilliant in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think the writing was fantastic. Every character in this felt believable. Right. Every decision felt realistic. I'm thoroughly, like, I do my awards at the end of the year. This movie is a quick contender for me for storytelling. And storytelling is my combination of writing and directing that I do. But this movie is immediately a contender for that. So I'm giving it a 5 for sure. Yep, 5. All right. And then the final one. 5. Did it keep you on your toes? 5. Did it keep you guessing? It's a 5. 5. It's a 5. This might be my favorite movie of the year so far. I think I would agree. Which is crazy. Like, I did not. And this is, I say this all the time. When you go in with expectations that are high and something meets it, you might not feel as great as something that you go in with either no expectations or low expectations and get an amazing. And that might be what happened here, but I don't care. It's you got 5s across the board, so 25 out of 25. For me, it's a 24 out of 25. But again, that's a 4.8 on my scale. That's going to be hard to beat. The 25 out of 25 is tough to get for me. I think maybe the Blackening got that from me last year. But I feel good about these ratings. How do you feel? How do you feel we got through a whole podcast? Yeah. You got me loose, like you said, first 10, 15 minutes. And that's probably why it's so long, because you got me on here. And maybe I don't come back because you guys want short videos. I'm sorry, short podcast episodes. If you listen to this whole podcast, I want your feedback. Did you like me and Latoya's review? Do you want more? Hold back. If it's like, no, don't bring her back. Just let it be Bibbs, because I don't know what she's doing. Say that. For your first podcast, I thought you did amazing. I enjoyed doing this. You can't say that. I would love to have you back personally. It's nice to have some eye candy to look at. Let me stop. No, but I think we should get up out of here before we hit that 2-hour mark. And then I broke my lie. I broke my rule. Yeah. Thank you all for tapping in with us yet again. The next review might be the ODB documentary that comes out in a couple weeks. I'm probably going to get shy for that. We'll see. But until next time, folks, peace.